This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel scum.
Always the most rebellious of rebel scum.
I was muted 315 episodes later. We're still doing it. Survived a pandemic.
In fairness to you and I, when we mute ourselves, Brock, when we first started this endeavor 800 years ago, we were in the same room, and there was no muting microphones back then. Our mics were, we weren't live either, but our mics were hot. They were always hot. And so, you know, that's part of the thing is like, I'm still back in your basement doing this. That's where my mindset is. Every week when we do this, I get transported back in time. And so I don't even think mute's not even an option. You're like, don't bang the mic. Remember the first microphones we used? Do you remember those beauties?
Yeah.
We were like, they were the upgrades that we've had. I think maybe I've downgraded again, but the upgrades were good times. We need to go back in time.
Episode 315, Rebel Scum Podcast. We're here to talk Star Wars. And yeah, what a time.
Did you see Dune 2?
No. But I
right out of the gate. Gotta get right out of the gate.
No, I have not seen Dune Part 2. I would like to, but it did not
We're
happen.
one of the
this
few
weekend.
who haven't.
Yeah, actually, I was curious. What is it on Rotten Tomatoes?
96, I think.
Certified fresh? Wow.
Oh, bigly. Yeah, it's 96. It's way up there. It's being heralded as a masterpiece, and that is why I was like, I have to understand what the joy is in this thing. Let me know how it is. I might see it when it's streaming. I might not. We don't know. At some point, I'll probably watch it. It'll take me a week. Most people will be watching like shows. I'll be watching Dune 2. Bad Batch. The Bad Batch show.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Bad Batch show today?
I did. It was a good episode. It kind of was cool because it tied in with an older episode, just loosely. But it's the return of Crosshair to the Bad Batch, Hunter and
spoilers.
Crusher. Haven't seen him, so it's just like, oh, how do we friends? Oh, and Echo is back, but which made me think during this. It's like, so they've set up the whole idea that like Rex is out there trying to liberate the clones and what have you, and that's a big like theme of the show, especially with Omega after being on Tantus. And then Echo leaves at the end of last season to go help Rex, which makes sense. Like Echo was, I believe, part of his squad, right? Like he was in Clone Wars the same time Rex was a prevalent character. So it's like, they talk about Rex off screen like so much that you're like, this is an opportunity to bring this character back. Which makes me think, I'm like, is there a plan for something else to do with Rex? Because like the Bad Batch, it exists, but it's like they can kind of do whatever they want because they've kind of created all these characters that like they can do with whatever they want. It makes me question, like, what is Filoni doing? Like, because to my knowledge, Rex is one of his favorite clones, I think. Like, why is he holding back on, like, it's easily, I mean, yeah, it's the Bad Batch, so let's just focus on those characters. But then you pull one of those characters away to be with Rex off screen because they're working on something. So it's like, what is the plan? Is there going to be a show where Rex comes back, or a movie or something where we get to see the other side? I don't really understand. The show doesn't need Rex to like do well, but it's just bizarre, you know? Because it's like usually when you do that, when you mention a character, like in comics, it's like, oh, Captain America's with the Hulk right now. And they're like, oh, that's in Incredible Hulk. He can't be in the Avengers because he's with the Incredible Hulk. Or like vice versa. It's like when they mention something about, I don't know, the Emperor, they're like, oh, this is because it's happening during A New Hope, so he has to be over here or whatever. So it's like, I'm very curious why they're doing that outside of like maybe Filoni's just like, no. It's strange.
Yeah, Rex is an interesting character because he hasn't been in live action yet. He's basically just been in. We did get that clone in Obi-Wan, but that could have been anyone. But well, no, I guess we saw him in Ahsoka in that flashback in Ahsoka. But whatever.
Yes.
But that was a flashback in the World Between Worlds. He's never been in anything in live action that has been present tense. Let's say.
Well, allegedly, he's the old guy in Return of the Jedi.
Yes, I don't know. I think that was a thing, and I don't know if. But anyway, yeah. But he hasn't really done anything, so they could be using this to bring him back to the forefront, and catapult it and use him in something else, or maybe the grand finale of this. Rex is going to show up for the grand finale. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on that so much. But yeah, man, if you're like James, we're making a show about Rex getting coffee, I'd be like, all right, let's go. Sign me up. I'm all in on that show. But overall, how have you felt this series has gone from season 1 to now?
Good. I actually like this season a lot. I don't know if it's because there's a Star Wars drought, but like, I've enjoyed it. What did Heidi say? I think it's going to evolve into a different series. Yeah, I think that's a really good call, Heidi. Like, I just like, like we love Filoni here, but like there are times where like, why did you make this? Or why did you make this choice? And it's like, we've said it before, it's like, oh yeah, the Space Whales episode is important because that is how, you get to this plot and then also explains how this works. I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm very interested. Oh, one thing I don't know if we've ever talked about, there is an adult woman in the first couple episodes, and I think the last couple of last year, where Omega is like being held by the villain. There's like an adult woman who is actually a clone. A female clone grown to adult. So it's like, she talks about it in this episode. It's like, oh, this person doesn't even know. It's like, who's that? It's like, she's a clone. She's me. She's me, but like older. I'm like, what? So it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I'm also a person that's like, maybe we do less with cloning, but I do love the clones, especially what Filoni created. So
yeah, I think it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, like the multiverse, right? You can go, if you go too heavy on it, too far, it becomes like a crutch, and then it starts being a cop out, and you can start doing things that get a little ridiculous. So yeah, it's really it's a tricky thing to navigate.
I don't know. We'll see. Shout out to Heidi for also correcting me. It's not Crusher, it's Wrecker. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Crusher is the Doctor on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Which you just binge watched before we recorded.
Absolutely.
You took today off, and you're like, I have to binge watch Star Trek: The Next Generation in full.
I take a shot every time Picard drinks tea or plays a flute. I'm like, I'm not that hungover.
Everyone should know you're also hammered right now.
This is my drunk face.
Oh, too bad you didn't freeze. The one time you didn't freeze. All right, let's do a fun thing on the show that I think is fun and nobody else does. It's called Blind Rankings. Blind Rankings is probably the greatest thing to happen since sliced bread. Blind Rankings. Today we're going to do Blind Ranking sequel trilogy characters, Brock. Sequel trilogy characters. The way it's going to work is I have 5 character names. You've never seen them. Well, you have, but you just don't know which 5 I have. And you're going to put them 1 through 5, blindly ranking them where you believe they should go. These are sequel trilogy characters. Don't get too excited boys and girls
Are-
watch. Oops, that's not what I tried to do at all.
That still works. Are they main characters or just any kind of character in the sequel trilogy?
They're no. Okay, there's no one. They all have lines.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them are only in one movie. The one's in 3, and the rest are in 2. So it's kind of support. I say supporting. How about that? Supporting. So you're not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna throw you a Kylo Ren or Rey in this one. You're not gonna get those kind of characters. Okay? So don't wait for Kylo Ren or Rey. That's all I'll say. Well, no, but it's we because we did the video game one, and you're like, well, those are. I'm like, yeah, but we'll do more video. You have to leave the door open to do these more than once because we have 315 shows, and I need 315 of these. All right, here we go. Blind ranking. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Rose Tico. Rose
Tico. 3.
I had this hunch you were gonna go 3 on that one.
Yeah.
Just had this feeling. Snoke.
5.
5 for Snoke. I want to know your reasoning after. 3. My third, not your third. With Holdo maneuver.
4.
Holdo on the 4. Hux. General Armitage Hux.
2.
2 for. I'm just running Hux. I'm not gonna spell Armitage. And your favorite side character. I'm gonna just I don't even know how to spell it. Hold on. Give me a second here. Your favorite. Okay, I did spell it right. So your favorite character, Brock, side character of the sequel trilogy, and this is going down. This is it. It's Zori Bliss. Zori Bliss is your number 1.
I mean, you take a gamble constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with that. Zori Bliss, like in a design, like the character design of the character is cool. It just she's just sort of there. Though, like the scene where Babu Frick pops up in the cockpit of her ship, I'm like, yeah.
That's actually what I was thinking when I.
Yeah, like shout out to Felicity. What up?
She was good at it. I think she's actually good in it, to be honest. Like I think her performance,
Yeah,
the little that she does, is good. And I like this character better than the one. No, I like this character better than what not Maz Kanata turned into, which was, oh yeah, we got to put Maz Kanata in this movie. That's kind of what it felt like after. Well, with all, it was like, oh yeah, Maz Kanata, and I was like, oh yeah. She's like Yoda. No, she's not.
I feel like it would have been just an easier answer to be like, Lupita can't be in Star Wars because she's doing Black Panther, and be like, oh, okay, perfect. I mean, that's understandable. Okay, get it. I get it.
It was like she won the Oscar, and then like get her in it. They're like, okay, we don't have anything. Make up something, Maz Kanata, and she's orange, and she knows the Force, but she's not a Jedi. What does that mean? Yeah. We don't know. What's she gonna do in the next one? Talk about love making. All right, cool. Anyway. There's your list. Everyone jot this down. Brock hates Snoke.
Well, like here's the thing. Snoke could have been interesting, but like they didn't do anything with him. Which a lot of these characters are kind of like that. They're like they set up this cool idea. Like Rose is like that. Snoke is like that. Holdo's in one movie, so whatevs. And Hux, yeah, like even Hux is kind of a letdown by the third, where you're like, oh, he's a great little character, and then you're like, oh, like he's like,
yeah, it's so true.
Hux is like the Scarecrow in Christopher Nolan's Batman series to that of Star Wars. Yeah, Wizard of Oz. No, like he's like this, like Jonathan Crane Scarecrow, where like he pops up. He's not really vital, but it adds flavor to the story. But then, like, with Hux, it's just like, and then, like, we didn't stick the landing, but that's up to JJ.
Yeah, somewhere along the way, some of these went haywire for me. Like, Snoke is one that I love the way he went out. Like, I'm like, great. The problem was he went out before we knew anything about him. and he came in like so strong. It's like, ooh, this mysterious figure. Who is he? And they didn't seem to care that there was movies before it where, where was he during that time? Doesn't matter. Why? Because it doesn't matter. He's mysterious. And it's like, yeah, but at some point that mystery, doesn't work. And so, yeah, I can see Snoke going there higher on this. I would have had Holdo higher, to be honest. That would have been mine. I would have had Holdo higher up because I didn't mind Holdo so much, but you don't know who's coming. You don't know who's coming. I told you there's no Kylo, but you don't know who's coming. You don't know who's coming.
Yeah.
It could have been Dio. Dio could have been on its way for this. Speaking of useless characters, let's just have another cool droid that looks like a hairdryer. Let's do it. Absolutely can't go wrong. Phasma, DJ Phasma, all letdowns. I think, yeah. Well, now we're just going to turn to a bashing session of the sequels. So that's not going to happen. DJ was a little disappointing. Like, anyway, who cares? What do we got? 315 Rey movie, Brock. Rey is going to be in a new movie. Did you hear about this?
Once or twice on this podcast.
Yeah. So apparently this character Rey might be Rey Skywalker. We don't know. She is headlining a new movie. They're saying it, or they're not saying much, but reportedly it is not going to be episode X. It's not going to be episode 10. Make that what you will. But the new reports are circulating that it's going to be about Rey, 2 apprentices, and a villain. So they're casting right now for her 2 apprentices and the villain. I don't know if the script's done or not, but you know what? I'm not even going to concern myself with that because I got to say something. I think that's an exciting idea. 2 apprentices and a villain. You need a villain, so that makes sense to me. Having apprentices also works because then we can learn about the Force, how the Force has evolved. But Brock, I just want to talk about episode 10 very, very quickly. I think this movie would be amazing if we go to the theater, we sit down, Star Wars smacks in our face at the beginning, and then a crawl happens. But there's no episode 10. It doesn't say episode 10. But when they make the sequel to this movie, it says episode 11. And then when we buy this movie on digital and DVD and Blu-ray and VHS and Betamax, it says episode 10. They George Lucas this. They go back. And you know what? And that can also be their scapegoat, because if it doesn't work, if everyone's like, that was terrible, they can be like, it was a spinoff. It doesn't need a number. But I think they do it with no episode number, and then when the sequel comes, they throw on episode 11.
I only don't want that to happen so that you're like, I was right. And I'm like, we'll never hear the end of it.
Do you think either of us will remember this conversation by the time that movie comes out?
Yeah, this is so outlandish that I probably will remember this. I'll be like, oh my God. I won't remember what episode we said that in. And then I'll be like, I have to watch a full year's worth of episodes.
Yeah.
Because I think I would remember what year you said it. But
was it before or after the pandemic?
I'm all for things where it's like you have to pay attention to what's happening. So I don't hate that idea. It's like when you spot like a boom pole or someone, like a cat, like not a cast member, like a crew member in the background by mistake. You're like, oh,
Jeans guy.
Did I actually put this in here? In the news, yes, there is like a similar thing that someone discovered. Yeah, I'll bring it up in the news, but I just like, yeah, those little hidden nuggets. I'm all for it. I love it too when they're like, maybe it's not like a hidden thing and no one notices it for like 20 years, but it's just like, it's cool when people are like, I've watched this enough that I noticed there's something wrong. But I don't know. It's like, I mean, good filmmaking should always be able to like pull your attention away from anything on the. It's like we will tell you where to look. So I'm all for it.
Do it. What do you make of the Master and the Apprentice aspect of it, where we are going to get more of the Jedi? I mean, they came out and said it, New Jedi Order, like they weren't hiding that fact.
Yeah.
So it's not that big a surprise. But how do you feel about 2 of them and one villain, possibly one villain?
A master to an apprentice, and then a villain. I think it works because I feel like, there's always got to be someone questioning their abilities or questioning their devotion to the light side of the Force. So it's like, that's an easy sell. Or I don't know. It's just always, it's always nice to see a villain that can easily handle two heroes at the same time, sort of thing. So,
if but this could also be a trickery on their part if there is that happening. It could be two apprentices and one of the apprentices becomes the villain. Also, they could go that way because that's very Star Wars. I mean, that might be one of those things where it's done to death. But at the same time, aside from Anakin, we didn't see it with Kylo. He just all of a sudden was bad right from the get go. Like we didn't see his demise into the dark side. So it could be fun to watch someone do that in a film, like in a movie where you're not expecting it, right? It would be like if we go in thinking, oh, they've cast 3 new people for these roles, and then we walk in and it's like, oh, okay, because we knew Anakin was turning to the dark side and Kylo was already there. We've never had that kind of a twist before.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Though, like, sometimes I'm sort of like, oh, someone good turns bad in Star Wars.
Yes.
I've never heard of that. But, like, who cares? Like, if you can make it a good story, like, I'm in. Yeah, I was just looking up, like, who is the Grisk? Warlike sentient species that lived in unknown regions, according to Thrawn. Is that, like, you know how in Rebels he has this, like, spy guy that's, like, voiced by, forget who. I think it might have been Warwick Davis, but they just modulated the voice. Was he a Grisk? I'm trying to look up a picture.
He was a Rook. He was a Nobody.
Yeah, Rook. Okay. Yeah, that's a
Rook. I guess he's dead. I
did.
thought he had like I thought he died, but it was also one of those deaths where like he could be alive. If they wanted him to be alive, he could survive.
Yeah, for sure. That's an easy fix.
They were the main enemies of the Grisk. Yeah, honestly, Brock, I don't think they're going to go dark side, light side with the Rey movie because I think it's too soon. I think it's too much too soon with that. We've already done that. It's played out. That's how I think a lot of people would feel, and that's how they would probably feel. I personally don't feel that way because you can call a bad guy whatever you want. They're the bad guys. It doesn't matter. Like if they're a Sith or a Grisk or a Chiss or a Wookiee, a bad guy is a bad guy or girl. It doesn't matter what title you give them for me. And if they and inevitably all villains at some point in their lives were evil, unless it's that horror movie Mikey from the 90s. Like they're not bad, like at some point everyone's kind of good. So I'm okay with it. I don't think they'll go down that route. I feel like it will be something else. But I know a lot of people don't want it to be Sith and all that, but I kind of want to see a red lightsaber. Hate weak people.
It's hard to say. It's like High Republic has a pretty decent group of villains with the Nile, and they're just like pirates. They're just almost religious zealot pirates. That's basically it. They're more like Vikings. They're space Vikings than anything, where they're just like, let's just destroy everything. Why? I don't know. Let's do it. And then they're interesting because they're constantly backstabbing each other. And then like the main leader is like a real, like on par with like Emperor, Vader, Thrawn level villain, where you're like, yeah, like there's a lot happening here. It's not a matter of like what power the villain has. It's a matter of how far will they go? Like, so like, like the Emperor is like an evil Sith, but he builds a thing to blow up planets. I mean, I know he gets other people but like, it's like his like true evil, and Vader in connection is like, they'll just blow up a planet and destroy a solar system and just commit genocide, and that just immediately like evil. I understand, like it's smart, like what's that? The first 30 minutes of that movie, and you're like, you're the villain. I mean, you're all in black, so you're obviously the villain. But now I really know that you're the villain, and everyone, including you, is like villain. So it's like that is truly what we need for a Star Wars villain to go that level. And like, not to spoil anything, the High Republic, the main guy in the Nihil, which is Marshawn Rowe, is like the first book ends, and I'm like, oh, you're despicable. I'm in. So, and then he has a cool mask. Like, it's like they have to be truly to their core despicable or evil, whatever you want to call it, and they have to wear a fun mask. Done.
I'm in on that. I like that idea. That's how villains should be.
If you're a space wizard too, great, but you don't need the other stuff. You just need two. It's just extra. It's just a little extra on top, and I think that truly is like what Star Wars villains are. Because it's like, I mean, Snoke is interesting visually, and you're like, I guess you could say, like, well, he does. I mean, in Force Awakens, we assume he's the reason why there's the murder planet, but it's Emperor. I don't know. It's like something about him falls flat because you're like, oh, I see it, and then it doesn't happen. There's nothing evil he does, and then he gets sliced in half. And the same with Kylo.
He's just that. Kylo? Yeah, I guess Kylo. Well, he has temper tantrums.
He tortures Rey, I believe, at one point.
Yeah.
So
yeah, with her mind, yes. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. They don't do any real evil acts. It's all, but I mean, at the end of it, though, I guess it makes sense because it is CVP who's pulling the strings on everything. Mm-hmm. He's the one that still has his murder,
I don't know if
murder weapons.
I don't know what is Thrawn despicable for. I mean, I'm sure he did something in Rebels. They're like, or I can't remember what he was doing in the books.
I don't think maybe the books, but in Rebels, I don't think he's done anything. He's just. He's a military leader for the real evil. Like he's more Tarkin.
I know it's not Mad Mikkelsen. What's his brother's name that does the voice for Thrawn? Lars Mikkelsen. It's just like well, that voice sounds evil, so we're in. Yeah.
And it's perfect. It's a great voice. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of him in live action as well. Like just more of that character, more developing the character. Like how evil is this character, and what evil is he fending off, or is he bringing into the galaxy that we know and love?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to go to the odds?
Let's do it.
Possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds. Brought to you and everyone by patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do, why don't you support us at patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast, where we get that juicy content. Andrew will do a dance. Who knows? The sky is the limit. We can make it happen when we have the time to. But your support is greatly appreciated. And we love the following people that think we're just the bee's knees: Heidi Feder, executive producer; Barry Brophy; Dennis Allen; Randy Kenobi; Mary Kristen Aton; Dale Erdman; Phil Staniforth; Rez, Scott D, Josh Price,
Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Den Nerds, Disney, Desi, Charlotte, Ron Prasek, and Jeff Wilson coming at you. Sure. Coming at you. Thank you all for your support. It really means a lot to us. Helps us get through the week, and putting these shows on and having a good time talking. Heidi is saying supposedly they were supposed to find a planet of dark side Yodas in season 3 of The Mandalorian. Maybe they will bring back that concept. Ooh, dark side Yodas. As much as I like that, let's just keep Yoda, Baby Yoda, and Yaddle. Like they're like little trio. I'm good if we just leave it like that. Although dark side, are they all red? Like are all the Yodas red Yodas? Oh man, what if it's just a planet of Mogwai? We don't know.
Don't feed them after midnight.
Howie Mandel voices all of them.
All of them. Like, I like that idea, but it also feels like jumping the shark. It's like, we have run out of ideas.
Yeah, like, we don't have much, but let's do it. I'd still watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not watching much else right now.
Especially if it was a way that we got that race of aliens explained to us. I'd be like, I don't like it, but okay, let's go.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to know more about Yoda. Like,
Yeah.
keep Yoda a mystery. I think that's the thing. I hope that's in the Disney contract. Is like, you can't talk about Yoda until like 150 years after my death or something like that.
When it, like Steamboat Willie, where you're like, after 6 or 100 years, you can do whatever you want with it. Internet, go crazy.
I mean, the internet like doesn't go crazy. Like, let's make a horror movie. Everything's just make a horror movie. It's like such the easy cop out. Like, we could do whatever we want with Steamboat Willie. He's gonna murder kids. No kidding. Good
Blumhouse, you did it again.
All right, never tell me the odds. Today's odds brought to us by Patreon. Thank you so much. And/or Season 2. Never. Let me say that again. Never tell me the odds, Brock. And/or Season 2 will feature at least one lightsaber. We're going to see one lightsaber ignited in And/or Season 2. I'm not saying there's going to be a lightsaber duel or battle, but at some point, someone's going to go.
Whoa. I'm gonna go like 75% because Vader's around, right? So just drop a Vader in there. Why not?
Ba-ba, ba-da-da. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna go 41%. I feel like they're gonna be like, no, we're not. We're not even gonna touch ancient religion, hokey religions, whatever they call it, in this Andor show. That's what I'm gonna say. Our next odd. Let's know what your odds are in the comments, by the way. The next odd, Andor Season 2 will focus more on the Death Star. We're going to see more on the Death Star. I'm thinking, what's that? What's the Imperial's name that we follow in this? The female Imperial officer? Deidre. Is it Deidre?
Yeah. Oh, she was so good.
So good. Is this season going to end with her working on the Death Star? Oh, how much of the Death Star is going to be this? We're going to have a lot of Death Star in Season 2, Brock. That's the odd. A lot of Death Star in Season 2.
I'm going to go 90%. I feel like you kind of have to because it is the whole point of the movie.
Yeah, I think like you kind of keep Andor away from it a little, right? I don't know if he knows too much. I think he's on like a quest to find out. Like it's going to end more with him on a quest to find out. But yeah, the Imperial side, you got to go heavy. I'm going to go 87%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that show is pretty good in having a whole bunch of characters that don't really interact with each other that much. So it's like, and because it's all making a spy network, it's like, it's very easy to be like, well, I'm not going to tell you about that.
Yeah, so true. I'm gonna rewatch Season 1 because it's so good. And our final odd, Grogu will appear on Ahsoka Season 2. Will Grogu appear in the second season of Ahsoka?
I would love that. But we don't know what second season is going to be about. I'm going to go full Brock on this. I mean, I want it. I have no idea. It's just like, I want to manifest that so hard.
Yeah, I would be all in. I'm going to go 11%, though. I think they keep they keep Grogu on his Grogu show, especially after what happened with Boba Fett, how people weren't very thrilled with that outcome. I think you keep Grogu. Grogu side. All right, let us know what your odds are in the side below, in the comments. Side below. Brock, you got some news?
You know it.
Hollow news, da 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 da. Hollow news, da 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 da. Hollow da 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 da. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my microphone.
Hollow news. Hollow news. The news you need to know right now. Anthony Daniels is unloading his entire collection of Star Wars goodies in an auction thrown by memorabilia specialist Prop Store that will be held next week in Los Angeles. One of the centerpieces of the Anthony Daniels collection is a screen-matched light-up head that Daniels wore in 1983's Return of the Jedi. The object, consisting of a faceplate, backplate, and neck ring, could fetch anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. At a similar auction involving Daniels' Daniels items last November, another C-3PO head gavelled for almost $850,000. This is the second and final batch of items being unloaded by the actor who previously sold a stash in a prop store auction in London last November. It's a rare opportunity for collectors, as Daniels is the only major actor from Star Wars to openly sell his memorabilia. In 2023, items belonging to the late Chewbacca actor Peter Mayhew were to have been sold off until his widow learned that the auction, asked for the items to be donated to Mayhew's foundation. Home video collectors, I hope you're paying attention, because right now, or soon to be now, you can go and buy Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 1 and Andor Season 1 on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray on April 30th. So just under 2 months, I would say, at this point. And not only that, they're going to be in steelbooks. Both Obi-Wan Kenobi, the complete series, and Andor, the complete first season, 4K UHD, and Blu-ray sets will feature premium steelbook packaging and come packed with new bonus features, as well as exclusive concept art cards. You can get a first look at the set's original key art by poster posse artist Attila Sarzarka, along with a full breakdown of extras for each release. So just Google that jazz and you can see all that. And in our final story, Reddit user It's Just Monty recently discovered a mistake while analyzing the Mustafar lightsaber duel seen frame by frame in Revenge of the Sith. The eagle-eyed Star Wars fan spotted a mysterious face visible over Anakin's left shoulder at exactly 1 hour, 59 minutes, 3 seconds, and 21 frames in the film, a detail that has gone unnoticed by countless viewers since the movie's release. The user shared the finding on the subreddit of Star Wars, expressing surprise and amusement at the hidden character's presence, speculating that it might be a random editor's joke. It Just Monty also offered another potential explanation for the presence of the mysterious face, suggesting that it might result from glare on the shot during the compositing process. The user theorized that the glare was inadvertently cut along the blue screen, and the entire shot was developed, including elements that were never intended to be visible. The post further noted that Star Wars Revenge of the Sith scene was likely filmed on a platform to accommodate the camera motion and the actor's jumps, and the hidden character could be a member of the stunt crew, possibly McGregor's stunt double Nash Edgerton, standing by to ensure the actor's safety. So fun. But if you want some real fun, head on down to Toronto Comic Con, because you know Rebel Scum Podcast, they're going to be there again this year. And we're hoping we might get to meet or speak or just hear them talk. Yeah, Iman Esfandi from Ahsoka played Ezra, Diana Lee Inosanto, who played Lisbeth, and also Dennis Lawson, who played Wedge, and all of the original Star Wars. Plus, one thing I'm excited about the most, Claudia Gray will be in Toronto. Maybe I can get Lost Stars signed. I don't know. But I'm hoping to attend any Star Wars things. So I will report back. And also keep a look on our social medias when that happens. And up to the dates news. Wow.
Awesome. Top 5.
Top 5.
5 books to get Claudia Gray to sign that aren't written by Claudia Gray. Show up
The
among some random
joy of cooking.
would be amazing. Just can you sign my book? What book is that?
It is Cape Side Bay.
Oh, actually, yeah. Could you get her to sign that so I know how authors sign books?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no idea how to. Top 5 Legends characters that could appear in the Rey movie. Top 5. So basically, just Legends characters for the sake of doing Legends.
Yeah.
My number 5 is. You should meet Claudia Gray. Claudia Gray should be my number 5. I think at this point she's a. Heidi's saying get her to sign Side Scroller and her Fantasia's first novel. My number 5, Jason Solo. How does that work? She had a kid. She had a mysterious kid. There was no father. He died long before you were born.
See, I wasn't sure if we should put the Solo kids or not, but I agree. Like,
you can put whoever you want.
They were my automatic thoughts. I'm like, oh, so then I won't copy you, but I'll go Anakin Skywalker. Wait, Anakin Solo. Sorry.
Awesome. Star Killer. We're gonna go Star Killer number 4. Why? It doesn't matter why, but I'm gonna go Star Killer. Actually, you could like this story of not like the ending of his story where you like, with the emblem and everything, but like some of the stuff they do with Star Killer, you could do in a new movie with new characters and stuff like that. Yeah. You can find a way to fit Star Killer in and not change them too much. So I'm gonna go Star Killer.
I'm gonna say Star Killer as well. So I will copy you on this one.
We just have the same list.
I think also I was like Cal Kestis. I'm like he's canon. I'm like damn.
He's canon.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do video game characters we'd like to see. Heidi's saying Prince Shizor.
That's a good one.
Good one. Spoilers for my list. Lobaka number 3. You gotta have. That's one of the apprentices. Is Lobaka.
Yeah. So I'll put Lobaka here as well. I loved Lobaka because Lobaka's friends. Yeah, Lobaka is like Jason and Jaina's friend in their series. Like, right? They go to the academy at the same time. Because Anakin Skywalker has a friend that is a Tusken Raider, but doesn't wear all the getup. So you're like, oh, that's what they look underneath. It's just a little blonde girl. Like, okay. But mine. Oh yeah, sorry, I said number 3. Sorry, go on.
Oh my god, I have 6 on my. Oh no, wait, that just says Darth. I just have the word Darth written. I'm gonna erase Darth. I'm gonna go number 2. Dash Rendar.
I was like Prince Xizor. I'm like, yeah, Dash Rendar is legend, so I'm gonna put Dash. And like rethink the character, like only maybe like visibly kind of make him look the same. Definitely have the Outrider, but then change everything else about it. Like,
yeah, just don't make him a lazy man's Han Solo this time, and he'll be fun. Or make him lazy man Han. We don't have Han Solo anymore. All right, is that your number 2 as well?
Yeah.
Shizor, number 1.
Oh. Shizor. Nice.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I thought he was going to show up, or we're going to show up more in Boba Fett at some point, is what I was kind of looking for. But, whatever. We get what we get.
No, that's a genius move, because it's like, I don't know if there's that much story that you could really pull from, so you could just like restart that character, just make him look exactly the same. And he's like, yeah, he's part of Black Sun. And you're like, okay, cool. My number 1 is gonna be Mara Jade.
Mara Jade.
How do we do that? I don't know. Purple lightsaber.
Could you do like a male version of Mara Jade, like to be like? To like kind of go like with Rey, right? Like you could go that one could be like Mark J.
Mark Green. Mark Jacobson. The worst Star Wars name ever.
Oh man, could you imagine? That would be amazing. I wonder if you could do just like Star Killer, but you could. I mean, any of these characters you could work in. There's no way reason why you couldn't, if it made sense for what they were doing. I don't know what the plot is. I don't think we'll see any of these characters in the Rey movie. Frankly, I don't think any Legends characters will be pulled into that. There's a better shot of them being in Ahsoka season 2 than the Rey movie. But those are our top 5. Let us know what your top 5 are in the comments below. Where's the That's not what I was looking for. Is something funny, Brock? This is serious stuff.
Yeah. Heidi says it should be Martin Jade.
Martin Jade.
I absolutely want that to happen because that'd be hilarious.
It will be Martin Jade. Who is that? This is my friend Martin. This is Martin Jade. Martin Jade.
Martin Jade. He's wanted in 3 systems.
A whopping 3 systems.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, those are our 5. This is episode 315 of the Rebel Scum Broadcast. Brock, we're just going to call it the Rebel Scum Broadcast. That's what we should have called it to begin with.
Oh.
We have no problems.
On our birthdays.
That's what we'll call it this year. It's the broadcast.
Rebel James broadcast.
Before we go, Josh Donaldson level of excellence, yay or nay?
I feel like, who is the quickest person that gets put up there after retirement? Oh, maybe. I feel. Wait, did we put what's his face up there, right? Jose. That was last year, right? Right?
Last year, yeah. You gotta wait a little while.
It's close though. That's an interesting one. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I was just like, oh, that happened? Crazy.
I would put his name up there because he had that MVP season. He had a few. It wasn't like a lot of years, but he had a few really solid years. They never got over the hump, but he was one player. Bautista was a good. Bautista was probably my favorite J in a long time. Looking back on it, because my favorite thing about him while it was happening was he wanted to be at the plate when the game was on the line. Bautista, he loved that, and that's what I love about him. Donaldson was a little different, but he had that great season, and he was with the Jays, and he was always like, he's never been negative about the team or the franchise. And they've lost Alomar up there now for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. I would put him, not now, but I think I would put Donaldson up there because that was a great. Even if it was one great season, I think I would do it. It's
funny. It's like if he was on a World Series winner, like if he was on a World Series team for the Jays, absolutely, 100%.
He'd be up there for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
but it was interesting.
I would anyway. That's personal opinion. My opinion doesn't matter, but I put him up there. Why not? We're suffering over here.
When he would come and play for other teams, he'd always get a round of applause every time he went to bat. So I'm like,
yeah. So, and I think he still did Anyway, just wanted to end it on that. I would do it because great player in sports. All right. Anything else you want to say?
No. Watch Shogun. I started watching Shogun. So
I think it's amazing.
I don't know why I like it, but I'm like, everything. There's a lot of Japanese, so you have to pay attention.
Oh, all this.
I know, right?
It's not. The problem with reading right now is usually unfolding baby laundry, toddler laundry at that time. That's probably when we watch them. So it's like I can't fold this while I'm watching these things because there's so much. I just want to watch like a silent film where you don't have to read, and not like the title cards either, just pure silence for 3 hours. Just go. I know I do want to see that when I get Disney Plus back. I will check that out. That's my vow to you, Brock, because I will check it. It looks great. It actually looks great though.
Yeah, it does look really good.
Yeah.
Even I watch it on my phone if I'm just waking up and I'm like, this looks pretty sweet. But on 4K, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't have the 4K. I think my projector's 4K. No, it's 1080. I thought it's hooked up. It doesn't matter. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching 315. Let us know all of your thoughts in the comments. And tell me why Dune is better than Star Wars in every way, because Star Wars ripped off.
I don't know. Star Wars doesn't really have a worm that's in the 50% of the movie.
I'm trying to think. It might. It had
It's
the
like,
Sarlacc pit. It had the space worm. If you combine all the worms in Star
oh
Wars,
yeah,
there's an
good call,
equal
good call.
there's an equal worm thing.
You know, it's like without even looking at the Rotten Tomatoes, what we did at the beginning, it's like it must be doing well because it immediately started memeing and not about that popcorn bucket. Like they were already like dropping like screen grabs. Like I'm like, oh, this movie is definitely doing well if it's like breaking the zeitgeist immediately.
It's
So
crossed 200 million already, and it needs to cross
wow,
500 to break even. Yeah, I mean it's
You
an
know,
expensive movie, but
good for
people
Denny,
want
man. Good for him.
yeah, yeah, because the first Dune they botched with their day and date release on HBO Max in the theater,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
it did well. It still did well though, and now people are like, no, I really want to see this movie. And plus, I think like I don't know if it's the Oppenheimer effect, but remember Oppenheimer came out, and I still believe Oppenheimer did better than it would have without with the Barbenheimer
Wow.
thing. But the IMAX sales of the Dune ticket
Mm,
prices are friggin' like people want to see it on the big screen. I think that's like a tout. Like when you look at that, you're like,
mm-hmm.
okay, because I can watch it at home on a 50-inch TV, a
Yeah.
60-inch TV, an 80-inch TV. Like everybody has massive TVs or a projector where you can make any size. Like people have that in their homes now. But
Yeah.
IMAX we don't have IMAX. We can't duplicate that in the houses yet. So that could be like people want to see it on the biggest screen possible, and it's making money. It's making a lot of money there, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see it. What was I gonna say? I was just thinking about like, yeah, Dune came out during COVID, so I was like, I think it was the first movie I saw after like when we were allowed to go back to theaters. I was like, gotta go see Dune, baby. So yeah.
Oh yeah, because we didn't in Canada. We didn't have the option. We had to see it in the theater. It wasn't streaming the same day as it was in Canada, but in the States it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just watched it a week ago. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Desi just showed up, but we're out of here. We don't have time for this. Give us a like and a subscribe. I'm begging you. And Brock, until next time, you were always scum.
Rebel scum.
Scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.